In 1884, Guy de Maupassant wrote a story entitled The Diamond Necklace. In the exposition of this story, we are introduced to a young woman named Mathilde, who lives in Paris with her husband. Although they're not rich, they have enough money to live in a nice house and in a nice neighbourhood and have servants of their own. However, Mathilde is a deeply unhappy person. She believes that she was born to a better life than this. She longs to live in a bigger house with lots of material wealth, and she wants to enter Parisian high society. The inciting incident, or the moment of conflict in the exposition, comes when her husband brings home an invitation to a high society Parisian ball. Now, the reader may think that Mathilde would be overjoyed at this prospect, but in fact she's devastated because she believes that she doesn't have a dress which is good enough to wear to this ball, nor does she have jewellery good enough to go with the dress she wants. This leads us into the rising action of the story. Her husband decides he will come up with a solution. He sells his own personal belongings, and he also empties his bank account of his savings in order to buy her a dress that suits Mathilde's ambitions for this ball. Yet she's still not happy because she still lacks the jewellery to go with this dress. Again, her husband comes up with a solution, suggesting that she approach her friend, Madame Forestier, and ask her to borrow a piece of her jewellery. She selects the finest, most beautiful piece of Madame Forestier's jewellery from her collection, which is a beautiful diamond necklace. She then goes to the ball in her finery, and she has a fabulous time. Now, normally in rising action, we'll find that characters' situations become worse, which leads them to the climax. This story is slightly unusual in as much as things seem to be working out perfectly for Mathilde. However, this makes the climax all the more surprising. When she returns home after the ball, as she's getting undressed, she puts her hand to her throat and she realises that the diamond necklace has vanished. This is the turning point of the story. She now has a choice. Does she admit to Madame Forestier that she has lost this beautiful diamond necklace? Or does she somehow try to find the money? Either way, the money to replace the necklace. Either way, her life will never be the same again. The climax then leads us into the falling action. After searching and searching for the necklace, her husband and Mathilde realise that it's definitely gone. They decide, or Mathilde's pride prevents her rather, from admitting to Madame Forestier that she has lost the necklace. So they go to a pawn shop in Paris and they find a replacement, an exact replacement. However, it is extremely expensive. They buy the necklace, but get themselves into debt and spend the next 10 years repaying this debt. They have to sell their house, they have to sell all their possessions, they have to let go of all of their serving staff, and they live a life of poverty. This leads us into the resolution. Mathilde finds that although her life now is much more difficult, and in some ways she's less happy than she was at the beginning in the exposition of the story, she's achieved a degree of honesty and humility that she certainly lacked at the beginning of the story. One day, walking through Paris, she bumps into Madame Forestier, who is shocked by her appearance. She decides, given her new characteristics of honesty, that she will admit that the necklace she returned was not the original, but was a replacement. Madame Forestier then tells Mathilde that she's made a terrible mistake because the original necklace that she lent her was in fact just a cheap fake.